Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 275 of the Co-op Podcast. Look at that. The alert just also let me know. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary Ace Wavy. How's it going, Gary?
It's going very good, thanks. I've been seeing some interesting things in the news, on the gaming websites and everything, so I got some things to say today.
Uh-oh. Well, hopefully you don't drop any more bombs, because one game has already been talked about very badly over these last couple of days, but we'll
Oh
see.
yeah, there's been a lot of bombing this week.
Okay, looking forward to that. We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Hello. Going well.
That's good. And we are also joined by Mr. Tony Polanco. How's it going, Mr. Polanco?
Going great, man. I'm still trying to get over this food coma. Still eating leftovers. You know how it is, man. I want to thank you guys for having me on, man. 10 years, man. Koalition, man. Let's go.
Absolutely, yes. Glad to have both you and Dana on today. For those who don't know, this is an extension of our anniversary because we did celebrate 10 years. But this is an ongoing anniversary, and I believe we're going to have another show next week that we might have another special guest from the coalition, but that's to be determined. But for now, thank you both for being here today, and we're going to go ahead and talk about a few news topics that happened this week. Of course, before we do that, we're going to let everybody know what we have been playing. So, Tony, how about you go first and let us know what you've been playing?
Yeah, I've just been kind of scattershot a little bit. I was playing a little bit of Valkyria Chronicles the other day, because what happened is I was playing a game heavy, and then a certain little game called Red Dead Redemption came out, so you already know what happened there. I had to put that down. Played a little bit of Battlefield 5. I had to review that. I didn't really do the multiplayer, so I just wrote about the single player, which I think is fantastic. The war stories was really good. I feel that's a better deal than Call of Duty right now. That thing don't even have a fucking single player right now. And what else? A little bit of Hitman 2. That's a really good game. Pretty much if you're a stealth fan, that's the only stealth game in town. There's no more Metal Gears. There's no more Splinter Cells. Hitman is like the only game right now, And since it was New Year's, it was Thanksgiving, my cousin came over, so we were playing a bunch of different stuff. Capcom beat 'em up bundle, Street Fighter, old Street Fighter games like Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3, just like dabbling in games right now. There's nothing really I'm going too ham on right now. Kind of the end of the year, like the big one was Red Dead Redemption, obviously. After that, I kind of knew things were going to slow down, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, that's all I've been playing right now.
That sounds good. So I just want to ask one quick question, and obviously I know everybody here hasn't finished it yet, but is Red Dead Redemption 2 definitely on your game of the year list right now?
Game of the generation, bro.
Oh,
this is
whoa.
serious right now, man. I'm dead ass right now, yo. Like I already knew the game was going to be excellent, but I didn't know it was going to be on this level, man. It's so amazing, like on every level. And it's funny to me because I hear people complaining about, controls this, that, the other thing. I'm like, have you never played a Rockstar game? This controls exactly like every other Rockstar game. This isn't a game you rush through. You got to like enjoy like a fine wine. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it takes place in like the past. Things were a little bit slower there, but it still has that action that you expect from a Rockstar game. But for me, what really makes it is the world setting and the character. The characters, like, I was a little bit like upset. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to play as this other dude. I want to be John Marston again. But by the end, you're like, yeah, Arthur Morgan is the man. That's the guy you want to play as. It's just amazing, like the on a technical level, what Rockstar's been able to achieve. So that's easily my game of the year. And unless something else comes out, which I doubt it will, I think that's going to be my game of the generation. I'm thinking about all the games I played, and there's been a bunch of really good games this generation. I think that's the one that like above head and shoulders above everything else. It's just incredible.
All right, so I'll say that you definitely have said enough to let me know I need to finish this game. I know that Gary also has been playing the game, and yeah, I need to get back into it. I got a little preoccupied. I'll get into what I have been playing in a little bit, but yeah, I definitely need to try and finish this game as soon as possible. All right, I'm gonna go to you next, Dana. How about you? Let us know what you have been playing.
I went back to Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I also have been playing some Red Dead 2, but I went back to Spider-Man Dimensions because I've also just been all over the place during the holiday. So I really like that game. Obviously, we all know what it's about. So that's what I've been doing.
That sounds good. Yes.
By the way,
And
I want to quickly say I did play the Spider-Man DLC, which is excellent. Go play it, please.
Yes. Yes. I definitely second that.
And I know that, you know, Red Dead is going to be Game of the Year, but coming up is going to soon be Detective Pikachu, that movie tie-in. Video game.
Hey, you know, you're right about that. You know, we are going to talk about that a little bit more on another show we're doing later. But I will just say, when I did go to the theater this past week, people saw that trailer. There was a lot of excitement for that trailer. I was like, wow, did these people not see the trailer when it debuted days ago? But it's very interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to you next, Gary. How about you let us know what you've been playing?
Of course, I don't even need to say it. I've been playing Overwatch. No, that's a given. But also I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I can clearly see why Tony says that this is, or this could be game of the generation. I mean, I personally disagree, but it's definitely up there. Like it could be like number two, number three, easy. I haven't beat the game yet. I just reached chapter 5. I believe there's 6 chapters. But I must say that this year, I've been scaling back significantly on, single player story based games, just because I have a hard time fitting them in my life now because I'm so busy and I'm focused on other things. But this game, like, it's been God of War in this game, basically. These have been the single player story based games that have gripped me this year and that I've actually wanted to beat and that I've actually, spent the time with to try and beat them and everything. So I would say that Red Dead Redemption is slightly better than God of War to me personally. Like I'm having much more fun with it, and I'm more sucked into the experience. I love that whole, it's been done a million times, the whole robber thing, like being a thief and everything. But this game makes you want to do stuff outside of just the missions. Like you feel like you just want to randomly rob a train or rob someone's house or something like that, like just for the hell of it because you want to get more money and everything. And the story is really good. The characters, you get behind the characters in the crew and everything, and you actually want the crew to thrive and do better. So it definitely puts you into the experience much more than the first game did, because I eventually got bored of the first game, even though John Marston is a great character and everything, but there was just something that the first game was missing, like the first Red Dead Redemption. I felt it was missing something, so I eventually got bored of it, but this game just keeps sucking me in deeper, and it's, I like Rockstar's approach to things, because obviously they're going for more of they want it to be more cinematic over the actual gameplay. And I've seen people complain about the gameplay, like with the shooting mechanics and certain things taking too long, like looting and things like that. But I feel like it pulls you in. Like it's done really well. Like it, I don't know what what it is exactly, but there's something about it that just keeps pulling me into the experience, and it makes me feel like I'm really there. And I think not many games can do that nowadays. I do have Spider-Man also, because there was a Black Friday deal, so I took advantage of that. I bought Spider-Man. I just haven't played it yet, but we'll see whether my mind changes in terms of Red Dead being the game of the year. But as it stands now, that is definitely my game of the year. But I must say that where I am now, it's kind of turned into Uncharted a little bit, but I'm not going to explain why, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I know exactly what he's talking about too.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to have to revisit this discussion when we have our Game of the Year podcast. because yeah, God of War. I've heard a lot of people talk about how great God of War is. Spider-Man. I know quite a few of us in this chat have completed Spider-Man, so definitely have something to say about that. And of course, Red Dead Redemption. I still need to finish that, so we definitely going to have to talk about this stuff next month, just to see what the overall consensus is of our picks for Game of the Year. But very interesting to hear that, and I also find it interesting how you guys do well. Tony did mention that that's the game of the generation, because I thought that a couple of y'all were excited for Anthem, because I know Gary said he can't wait to play that game next year.
I mean, that could potentially be bomb of the generation. Like,
Yeah, that's my thinking too. I think that game's gonna flop, man. And it's gonna be sad too. We talked about this before. If that game doesn't do well, I kind of fear for BioWare's prospects within EA. EA ain't afraid to cut a studio loose, man. I don't know.
No, you're right about that. We'll see. We'll see. So as for what I have been playing, I have not been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been pretty busy with a couple other games here or there. First and foremost, I have been playing Darksiders 3. I believe the review embargo for that lifts tomorrow. So I haven't really gotten too far in the game because I'm playing on a different difficulty setting. I know there's a lot of different difficulty settings to play the game on, but I'm not too far in it. But I will have some type of impressions piece tomorrow that you can check out on the website. What I will say about what I played so far is I think the game is pretty good. I don't really know if I'm going to say that it's amazing or anything like that, because what I've experienced so far, I mean, for those that don't know, yes, the game has to deal with if you never played the first or the second game, it has to do with the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And in this particular game, you're playing as Fury, and you have to take down the 7 deadly sins, which are basically portrayed as 7 different demonic characters that you have to go against throughout the game. I haven't discovered a map in the game, so literally you are exploring different worlds, and there's not really any sense of direction. Well, the only thing you have on your, I guess you could say your compass, is it tells you where you're supposed to find, where the different sins are located at. But you don't really have any map basis to go off of, and there's a lot of different puzzles that you have to figure out. I have had a little bit of trouble with some of these puzzles as I've been talking to our other colleague, Mr. David Jagno, about this game. I was talking with him about this yesterday, actually. So, yeah, there are some of the puzzles, it do take a little bit of time to figure out, but once you figure it out, it's pretty great. And as far as the combat, it's your typical, your hack and slash action adventure type of game. But I do know that as you get deeper into the game, you do get these different entities called hollows, which are basically, it's like another form that your character takes and has different weapons. Like I acquired the fire hollow last night, and pretty much, I'm using different attacks. I'm able to walk through lava in different types of hot environments, and it doesn't replenish my health or anything like that. So the game does have a lot of different elements in it that remind me of the other 2 games. But yeah, in terms of the story so far, I'm not really too far. I believe I'm about 6, maybe 7 hours in. So I will have an impressions piece, but I know the dev said the game is supposed to take about 15 hours to complete. But again, I'm playing on a different difficulty setting, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer than that. But what I can say so far, it's a pretty good game. It is, since I am playing on PlayStation 4, I'm not playing on the Xbox One X or Xbox in general, because those codes are not out yet. But since I'm playing on PlayStation 4, it does feel as though I don't know, it's a lot more. It's not quite as polished. There's frame rate issues. There's all types of issues that you would expect, because I mean, this is pre-release code. I would assume when they release the patch update, a lot of this stuff is going to get fixed. But right now, it does have a little bit of issues that I have encountered, to say the least. But still, I would say what I played so far, it's a pretty good game. So definitely look for my impressions tomorrow when the embargo lifts, and I will have a review, sometime after that, because I actually want to complete this game before I talk about it in full, because I want to see how the story unfolds. But definitely look for my impressions tomorrow on the website. As for what else I have been playing, I did play a little bit of Dana's favorite game, WWE 2K19. And and I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Adam Vale because he purchased this for Black Friday, and I warned him ahead of time that that would not have been a good decision, even though it was cheap. And within a day of purchasing it, he has already been complaining to me about the game. So
purchased it. You both are sellouts now.
Well. Hey, I have it completely sold out because I was sent the game, but I just want to say, they did this week. They did release the new DLC, Bobby Lashley.
Lashley.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, him, EC3, and the War Raiders. And I discovered when I downloaded the DLC, the War Raiders weren't even put together as a team. So that goes to show you how lazy 2K are with this whole process. So.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Bad. It's not something that you should watch. I mean, you should buy on even on Black Friday. Like only if it was $1 and free shipping and handling. And no tax, free shipping and handling, and $1. That is literally what it's worth. An actual dollar. And you're able to pay with pennies. Because it's not worth your actual bill. It's bad, but it is an improvement from last year, which is not saying much. So, good luck with that.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree. But hey, if for those that did pick it up for Black Friday, please feel free to let me know in the comment section what you think of the game so far. But I was not happy to see how they handled that DLC. And it's still, I know we can say about the whole team thing, that's a minor thing, but no, I don't think that's a minor thing because these guys came to WWE NXT as a team. So the DLC should be them as a team, not individuals where they don't have a tag team finisher move. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. But that's just my thoughts. And finally, I also did play the Spider-Man Turf Wars DLC. I do have a review that is currently on the website, and I pretty much agree with what Tony had to say. It was a fun DLC. One thing I do want to say, though, is that for those that played the previous DLC, and you may have noticed that, they had a lot of the puzzles and stuff in it. There wasn't really any puzzles in this DLC. It just straight up action. So the people that prefer, just playing as Spider-Man and just doing the fighting, going to the fronts and stuff like that, then you'll probably enjoy this DLC more than the Black Cat Heist DLC because you have to think a little bit more in that one in terms of the scientific puzzles and stuff like that and the pattern matching stuff. None of that stuff is in this particular DLC, but it was enjoyable. But I have a lot of questions. I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't played it yet. But I just want to say, looking forward to what they do with Silver Lining because that DLC is out next month, and I'm even more interested to know what the plan is for Marvel Spider-Man Part 2 because we already know it's going to get a sequel at some point in time. But they have a lot of questions they have to answer after this DLC. That I'm curious to know whether or not they're going to answer it in Silver Lining. So hopefully we'll find out next month. But for those that have been on the fence about picking up Spider-Man, I would highly recommend you pick it up like soon because there's a sale going on PSN right now. I believe it's $39.99 for just the base game, and if you get the game with the DLC, it's the regular price $59.99. So if you definitely want to pick up the game at a discount, now is the time to get it. I don't know how long that sale is going on because I know tomorrow's Cyber Monday, so it might be extended, but after that, it might end. So definitely pick it up if you want to pick it up digitally. I don't know if it's on sale in the store because I haven't seen any sales on the game actually in store. But definitely highly recommend you picking it up if you're a Spider-Man fan, without a doubt.
Get that if you're a video game fan, period. That's one of the best games of the year by far. Like, it's for $40. Are you kidding me? Get that shit right now, man. No excuse.
I agree 100%. Yes, absolutely. So I know Gary has already got it. I look forward to hearing what he has to say about it next week.
Yeah, I'm just trying to beat Red Dead before I move on to that, because I don't want to like start that before I finish Red Dead, because then I might end up not completing any either of them. So I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, finish up Red Dead, because like, again, game of the generation. You know, got to finish that, but you got to play Spider-Man before the year's over. Just like I need to finish up Odyssey before the year's over, because I hear that's another fantastic game too. I picked that up on a sale, but I still haven't fully played it yet, because I'm expecting Square Enix to send me Just Cause 4, so I'm kind of holding off on big games, right now. So I'm chilling. So after Just Cause 4, I'll probably play that.
Well, hopefully we all will have Just Cause 4 next week. Hopefully.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They better give us that hookup.
Yes, we'll see. But no, I totally understand that, and I also did pick up Odyssey as well on Black Friday, but I cannot touch that game until I have to, like you said, I have to finish Red Dead Redemption. There's quite a bit of games I got to finish before I get to that. So hopefully I will get to it, but if not, it may have to wait until the beginning of next year. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so let's that covers what we have been playing. So now we're going to go ahead and move right into the news. And the first topic to talk about this week, this is something that I know that when Gary heard this news, he was absolutely devastated. His words exactly, not mine. The October NPD numbers were released, and I think there is a little bit of shock, because I believe we said on this exact show a couple of weeks ago, Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably going to be number one, and surprisingly we were incorrect in our guess. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the. I'm gonna start at number 10. Yeah, there were some other ones on this list. Well, okay, no, we'll start at number 20, but really I'm going to emphasize the top 10. So starting at number 20, we had NHL 19, number 19, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, number 18, Diablo 3. Very interesting with that one. Number 17, Super Mario Odyssey. Number 16, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 15, Mario Kart 8. Number 14, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Number 13, My Hero One's Justice. Number 12, Lego DC Supervillains. Number 11, Forza Horizon 4. Okay, and now this is where it gets interesting. Number 10, WWE 2K19. Okay.
Game of the year, man. Game of the year.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what Adam saw when he decided to buy the game, but we'll see about that. Number 9, Madden NFL 19. Number 8, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 7, FIFA 19. Number 6, Soul Calibur 6. Number 5, Super Mario Party. Number 4, NBA 2K19. Number 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. And number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So, after going over that list, I wanted to get the panel's opinions on what do you think about these numbers. Are you surprised that Call of Duty is number 1? If there are any games on that list that are surprising to you. And I think I'm going to go to Dana first, because I'm very curious to hear what she has to say about WWE 2K19 being number 10 on this list.
Well, it's very simple. Vince McMahon has been running around, and the company has a lot of money, and they've been purchasing copies to make that money. And also, here's another thing: a lot of sales. Yes, we have Black Friday and Cyber Monday that's coming up, but a lot of places have been dealing with a lot of heavy sales the entire week, and some a little bit earlier. So I attribute a lot of that to sales that's just been going on. But yeah, definitely the company's been snatching up those copies and be like, oh, look, we're number 1. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me. But I'm not surprised at Red Dead. I just was kind of surprised that it got knocked out by Black Ops. But again, sales, and they have a very large community of dedicated, loyal fans that will buy the game repeatedly. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The only point I'm going to make, and then I'm going to go to Tony next. I know they had that big news where the news came out. Red Dead Redemption 2 was the highest selling entertainment item or whatever. So I figured when I saw that number, it was like 17 million. I figured, oh, well, yeah, then that's probably going to be number one. But that wasn't what happened. So I was a little surprised when I saw that Call of Duty outsold it. But that's just my opinion. What do you think about these the games on this list, Tony?
Yeah, here's the thing. Okay, I'm shocked Red Dead is in number one, but I shouldn't be surprised. See, Call of Duty people like disappoint me every single year by buying the fucking games, man. It's like every year I hear the same thing. Oh, Call of Duty sucks. I'm never buying another Call of Duty again. Same motherfuckers buy Call of Duty every year, consistently. And to me, this one is like, okay, so why are you out there supporting a game that's blatantly ripping off, the battle royale craze and doesn't even have a single player mode? You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, guys, the hell is wrong with you? I mean, the only thing I can say is like, okay, maybe Call of Duty did better than Red Dead, just for the sheer fact it's been out longer in October. Red Dead was only out for 9 days, something like that. So I'm hoping Red Dead, takes its rightful place at number one next month. But yeah, I guess I should say I'm just more disappointed than anything. It's like, these companies, Activision specifically, is ripping you off with this subpar product, and you're just eating it up. It's really disappointing, man. It's like, it's one of those things that makes me like ashamed to be a gamer. I know that sounds dramatic. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you guys, man? Stop buying this shit, but if that's what the people want, that's what the people want. But that shit is just very disappointing to me, man. That this fucking game still rules. And it's going to be on the charts for an... Look at that. Number 10. No, not number 10. What was it? Last year's Call of Duty's on this fucking list, too. If you take the whole thing. It's like, what is wrong with you people, man? Stop buying these games. It's crazy.
I think, there's a lot of Call of Duty fans. I know Gary said he was contemplating getting Black Ops 4 as well. So,
never. Yeah, I'm just as shocked as and disappointed as Tony is, like, because I really thought this was going to be the year where we saw the decline of Call of Duty, because like I really question who's still playing these games, like, because I don't see any of us still playing Call of Duty like that. So like, it's not all the hardcore people, like who actually is going out and buying Call of Duty these days. I really don't understand.
Wait, hold on, Dana said something.
Yeah, go ahead, Dana.
Dana said kids.
Yeah, kids.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is kids like asking their parents to buy it for them and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's disappointing because I feel like Red Dead deserved to be the top selling, but at the same time, it's not going to stop that game's momentum. Like, it's still a great game, and the quality of the game will speak for itself. And Call of Duty is just recycled trash as always. So.
Whoa! Ouch! That hurts. Well.
The truth hurts sometimes.
Well, I just want to say this. I understand the criticisms about Black Ops 4. I did play the Black Ops 4 multiplayer, and I saw the little mode they have where you basically are playing as each specialist, and it has like a brief cutscenes in between to tell the story of the character, to try to give you a little bit of a context as to how they ended up in the current situation. I don't think that they handled that badly. I thought I was fine with that. But would I still say that I was expecting it to outsell Red Dead Redemption 2? Absolutely not, because number one, it's a Rockstar game, and I figured that everyone knows the pedigree of this company, what they bring to the table with their games. They don't release a game every single year. It always takes time, and every time they release it is of quality. So I would have anticipated and expected that to be number one. But as you guys said, a lot of people love Call of Duty, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that I know that personally said, I am not going to buy Black Ops 4. And then when the game came out and the last I spoke to them, they definitely bought it. So it's just, I don't know what it is. It is a trend, so to speak. So
I mean, there is one factor though. Like Red Dead came out the 26th of October, and Call of Duty came out earlier in the month on the 12th. So
yeah,
it had much more time to rack up those sales. But I think I remember hearing a report that Red Dead was selling really well. But I mean, if they only had like a few days to really do those numbers, then I guess it makes sense that Call of Duty would kind of outsell them a little bit.
It's crazy
see,
because think about it like this: Red Dead, I believe it ended up selling like about 17 million copies in the first week, which is really good, right? So, how much did Call of Duty sell?
yeah.
Think about that,
Wow.
It might not be that much of a difference, really. Maybe like by a million or a couple million. I mean, I don't really know because
Yeah,
I
that's a
didn't
good point.
see any I didn't see any actual numbers when they released this information. So I'm not 100% sure. And again, these sales are based on the physical items, right? Not the digital sales either. But it could be some digital in there. I'm not 100% certain, but I just find it surprising. And as for some of the other games that are on the list, I'm glad that Marvel Spider-Man is still selling. Because yeah, that was number one for the September NPDs, which it rightfully should have been. So I'm glad that that's still selling. Um, Forza is on the list still, which is good. Although it's number 11, I wanted that to be a little bit higher on the list. But again, I believe it was around number 7 for September NPD. So I'm glad that that's still selling regardless, because that really is the best Xbox exclusive right now, in my personal opinion. It's no competition. Sea of Thieves, State of Decay. I'm not really a fan of Sea of Thieves. We already know this. I've said this on the show. So, but yeah, I'm glad that Forza is still selling. So that's good for Playground Games and Microsoft. So yes, congrats.
Yeah, it's good
But
to see Soul Calibur doing well as well because I'm hearing great things about that game. I'm not brave enough to buy it because I feel like I'm gonna get murked by everyone.
Yo, by the way, I got a quick question for you guys. Related to Soul Calibur. I have this feeling, and it kind of sucks because I used to be fighting games were my number one favorite genre back in the 90s, right? But nowadays I don't want to play any more fighting games. I feel I don't have the time it takes to really devote to these things. You guys feel that way too?
Yeah, I've been feeling that way for a while because I did buy Street Fighter and I bought Tekken and I don't know, it doesn't feel like it used to, like playing
Yeah.
fighting games for me. Um,
well,
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Again, I was talking about how, me and my cousin were playing some fighting games. We were talking about this and we're like, yo, like fighting games aren't just don't, yeah, you're right. That feeling is lost that you used to have. Like, to me, fighting games is all about you with a friend in the same room or friends, playing together, having fun. But playing online, man, it's just something missing about it. Like, don't get me wrong, if you want to do that, that's fine. But then you couple that with the fact that, we're all adults now. There's very little time because if you want to play a fighting game seriously, you got to devote a lot of time to it, and I just don't have that kind of time. And it's funny because I keep buying all these fighting games. I never even really playing them that deeply. I still support the genre, obviously the community, but yeah, like even with Soul Calibur, it's like, oh man, I wanted to do well, obviously, but I don't know if I have the time to really put into it myself as amazing as it is, because I know for a fact I'm not going to have enough time to really sink my teeth into it.
yeah, like I was about to say, the online thing really kind of killed a lot of that casual enthusiasm for those games because it's like once
Yeah.
online took over fighting games, it's like you have to be pro at the game to enjoy it. Like you can't just invite your friends over and just like have fun with the game and even though you're not really that good kind of thing. It's like you just have to be phenomenal at the game, otherwise it's not even fun anymore. So
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's something I've talked about too. Even though I appreciate what they have done for making fighting games as big as it is and keeping it going, I do feel that the fighting game community has kind of, please don't take this wrong way, kind of ruined things in a way, because you're right. Like you need to be elite level right now in order to play these games. It wasn't like that before. Back in the day, fighting games were for everybody, of all skill levels. But now you have to be crazy, stupidly good to even enjoy it. Otherwise, you're gonna go online, you're gonna get destroyed, man. You play Marvel vs. Capcom, as soon as the match starts, motherfuckers punch you into the air. You never land on the ground until you die. They just keep comboing you to hell. You know, it's like that shit is not fun for people. You know, so but at the same time, you know, it is cool that fighting games are getting, you know, big. So it's cool in that sense, even though I can't personally participate in that anymore. You know.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Well said.
So I just want to make a quick comment, but before I make a comment, Dana, I wanted to know, did you have any thoughts on the fighting games? All right, that means no, she's not interested.
Oh, sorry, no, I was having technical difficulties. Oh, no, the thing is that, as you guys were saying before, when I was younger, it was something that was really fun, and it was, you know, everyone could participate in it, even as a kid. And now, as you guys previously said, it's, you know, you go online and you're just destroyed, and playing it with a friend, like, in front of you on the couch or something, that's the only way to enjoy it if you're at that same kind of slow level. So no, they've taken a joy out of it for me. I just, you know, it's either just, I don't really partake in it anymore because it's just not that much fun.
Ouch. Ouch.
No, it's like not an ouch. Like, you have to realize that you suck. So I realized that I suck. So I'm not gonna like go out and continuously embarrass myself. And as Tony was saying, you know, get punched one time and just never hit the ground. Yeah, unless I'm like really good, then I would play constantly and just like, start bragging and be one of those type of douchey people. But I'm not.
Oh, well, I think all three of you have made great points about fighting games in general and the online presence and how it is impacted by the fact that it is basically a pro. You know, a lot of people do the esports thing now with these games. But I have to say this. There is one game that I will make an exception and play it every single time, and that is any game that NetherRealm does. I am always there because Mortal Kombat, that's still my favorite fighting game series. And then on top of that, what they've done with Injustice, because they try to tell a story, I very much enjoy those stories that they put in the games. And I feel as though they are the company that really started doing this to the point where now others are taking note. We need to do this. I remember the big thing with Street Fighter V is it didn't have a story mode, and then they decided to do one. They said they were going to take cues from what has been done by other developers. So I would assume NetherRealm was inspiration for that, because anytime they put together these stories in the games, it does add another layer to the experience. Because, you know, other than that, it'll just be like a fighting game. You're just playing matchups, and then that's it. No narrative whatsoever. And when it's mainly on that level, that doesn't really interest me that much. But when there is a story involved, oh, I will definitely make time to play it. So with that said, I know there was a rumor that the next Mortal Kombat game is going to get announced at the Video Game Awards in a couple of weeks. I don't know if that information is correct, but if it is, I will be excited for that. But as for playing it online, yeah, you definitely have to be good to deal with these people on the competitive scene, because yeah, it definitely, I totally understand what y'all are saying about, yes, it is a lot more challenging to play against people online. So I could understand the appeal is not quite as good for fighting games anymore, but I definitely got to make time for whatever NetherRealm does, because I love what they do with their games, the stories, etc. So yeah, we'll see where things go from here.
Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat is one of those games where, like, I will buy it just because I really like their storytelling and the characters and the lore of it and everything. So I would buy another Mortal Kombat, but I don't think I'm going to do the online thing anymore, to be honest. So I'll just play it offline, play story mode.
Yeah, one thing about Mortal Kombat, see, they're doing it right. It's like you get the story mode and stuff for guys like us, but then you still have the online for like the really super dedicated guys. You could give people both. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like, look at the way Street Fighter came out, right? Street Fighter V. Mechanically speaking, it is an excellent game. I would even say maybe the best fighting game that's out right now. But when it launched, it just had no modes. It was just online. That's basically it. and it kept a lot of guys like me away from. I played it, but I'm like, after a week, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? There's nothing going on in this game, But by the way, speaking about online, because here's my thing with Street Fighter, because I've been playing Street Fighter for a very long time. I either fight guys that are so good I can't touch them, or I destroy these guys. There's no in between. Like, usually when I play with my friends, like we're all around the same like skill level. You know what I'm saying? So it's either I destroy these dudes, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, or it's just guys doing combos I never even thought were in the game itself. So it's just very, very unbalanced like that. But yeah, Mortal Kombat is like the golden child example. It's like that's how you make your fighting games nowadays. You have the robust story modes and all that other stuff, and then you have like the online to keep the shit going. Because that's the thing. It's like, guys like us, we'll play it for like maybe a month or so and then move on. But the fighting game guys, they keep it going for a long, long time. They're very essential for the whole process. But if you cut out like guys that aren't like Superman, you're gonna lose out on millions and millions of sales. And if you want to keep these games going, you definitely got to cater to everybody.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see. So one final question I did want to ask to Tony. So are you definitely planning on picking up Streets of Rage 4 whenever it actually comes out?
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Gary, you already know, son. Me and Gary went crazy. We saw like, I know Gary wasn't as hyped as me, but I love fucking Streets of Rage. When I saw that, I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like, I would have been happy with a Streets of Rage remaster. No, we're getting a full new game. And it has that same art style from I'm forgetting the name of the team, but those guys are really, really good. So I'm definitely excited for it, man. Like, we had Sonic Mania, now we got Streets of Rage. Like, keep bringing back more Sega games, please, man. The old school. Got to keep that shit alive, man. I'm hyped. I don't know when the hell that's coming out. Is it early next year or just 2019? Because I don't know. But either way, I'm excited for it. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, I'm there. I was skeptical at first just because, it wasn't what I thought it would be. But, like, I'm definitely there because that's one of my favorite game series of all time, like Streets of Rage. So, yeah, day one for me.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So, any other thoughts on October NPDs before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, just again disappointed by the Call of Duty winning. Come on, son. What is wrong with you guys, man? Actually, if we could quickly talk about hardware, and there's no surprise there. You already know PlayStation dominated again. Hey, that's just the way it is, man. It's where people want to play their games. Switch number 2, and man, Xbox. Like, yo, you getting. It's funny about Xbox, right? Because they brought out the Xbox One X, touting it as the world's most powerful console, which it is. No one's denying that, but it's getting destroyed consistently by the weakest console, the Switch. Isn't that funny? It goes to show you people don't care about power; they care about games. And say what you will about Switch, they got games right now. Even if some of them are old ass games, they still got them. It's interesting to me, man. By the way, yeah, November, I think, because this was October, I think November is going to be Red Dead number 1, and then for December, I think it's going to be Smash Brothers, because I know motherfuckers are hyped for that. I personally don't understand the whole Smash Brothers craze, but I know people are hyped for that. But yeah, just on the hardware, and it seems like people bought more this year than they did last year, which is really good too. I think only for Switch things are. It's funny, Switch, even though it's number 2, its sales were still down just because of the fact that Mario Odyssey wasn't out, this year like it was last year. But overall, things are looking up for the gaming industry. Just looking at the hardware numbers as well.
Definitely. And what you said about Smash Brothers is correct. Because I know that Gary has told me he has already pre-ordered his Nintendo Switch for this game. So yeah, that is correct.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the November NPDs are looking like. Yeah, like you said, Red Dead will probably be number 1. Call of Duty will still be on there. Battlefield, I'm very curious to see where that ends up at because, yeah. That game, they delayed it into November to avoid all that stuff coming out in October. So it definitely, I'm expecting it to be in the top 3, but I don't know how high it's going to be on that list. So I want to see that. And then, of course, a few of these other games that have been out this month. Hitman, yeah, I'm curious to see where that stands, as well as some of the other stuff. Because I have heard that, I believe there was a report that Gary and I did see the Hitman sales were down. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but we'll see. But yeah, any final thoughts, Gary or Dana, before I move on to the next topic?
Oh no, let's move on. Okay,
so I definitely have something to say about this topic. So I definitely want to go first. But yes, there was news this past week. It's been an ongoing story regarding Fallout 76, that it has bombed. Was bombed by the critics across several different outlets. A lot of bad reviews, so on and so forth. And Gary had asked the question, what should Bethesda have done to prevent this disaster? So before I answer that question, I have to say a few things about Fallout 76. And I have to point this out because I think I had an opportunity to point this out on Throwdown in the co-op in the past, and I haven't been able to do so. So I hope to deliver the metaphor perfectly today. I find it very interesting how a game about rebuilding after the apocalypse, for some reason, it cannot seem to forget about the apocalypse because of all the bad review scores, everything else. Everybody just calls it a disaster or an atomic bomb, as Gary has called it with the title of this particular show today. So as someone who has played the game, because I did play the beta on the Xbox One X, I had said on the Throwdown and the co-op, to me, the experience was totally fine. I had a good time with it because I understand what they were trying to do in terms of you exploring a world. There wasn't really no human NPCs, just robot NPCs and audio recordings. And the audio recordings very much remind me of BioShock in a sense, where you're getting stories about people who existed on the world before. There are some that might have survived, but you have no idea where they are because some talking about going to actually, hiding inside the actual facility, 76 base. So I thought there was some interesting elements to it. Now, what I did notice is that there were a lot of people talking about there's a lot of technical issues, glitches. As I said, when I played the game, the beta, because I played the beta the first couple of times that they had it on Xbox before they brought it to PlayStation 4 and PC, I didn't encounter any issues at all. So I thought what they were doing was interesting. And I also went into the game with little to no information about the game and no expectations, because all I knew was that Bethesda said it is an online-only multiplayer experience. But they also were very clear, and they said this is their first online multiplayer experience. So I already knew going into this game it was not going to be perfect when they said it's their first venture into this type of a game. So with all that said, I do believe that they should have communicated better exactly what this game was to their audience. Because I know when they announced this game before E3 and they had that stream that was going on for half of the day where people saw the please stand by image on their screen, their monitors, everyone was like making this a huge big deal, like, oh, it's a new Fallout game. Maybe it's possibly Fallout 5, but no, Fallout 76. That title probably wasn't the best title for them to use. But I feel like they really needed to communicate to their audience exactly what this game was. And they didn't really do that. So as a result of that, people went into this game thinking this is the next big Fallout game to look forward to. And I think because of that and the high expectations, that is why the game did not do as well as didn't do well at all, honestly. Because last time I checked, now the game is on sale everywhere. I've seen the game drop to as low as $35, and that game just came out like maybe about 2 weeks ago. So it's unfortunate for Bethesda, but I do admire their ability to decide that they want to take a risk and try to do something different. I think they should be at least get some type of credit for that. We can say that the game is a disaster, sure, but they try to do something different. So I'm not going to, criticize them for that, but I do criticize them in saying that they should have been a lot more clear and concise with the message, because that a lot of people thought this was a Fallout game. It was going to be. They had high expectations from that alone. So you had to be more clear and direct in regards to what you're trying to do. So I want to ask all of you, you guys' opinion on this particular game. What your thought is on it on the fact that it bombed, what they could have done better, and then I do have another question I want to ask after this that Gary didn't ask. That it's going to be very interesting. But I'm going to go to you first, Gary, since I know that you actually received a code for Fallout 76, unfortunately for Xbox. So we know that you didn't play it, but what were your thoughts on this game as it was coming out? And were you at any point interested in actually playing the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was always somewhat skeptical, but because I really do enjoy Fallout, like I love the actual IP, I was, kind of listening out just to see what the thoughts and opinions of people were about it, and I was going to consider getting it. I did send out for a review copy because the PR people actually hit me up. And, as Rich just said, they sent me the Xbox version on disc, which I can't do anything with at all. Like, I can't even, give it to someone else at Koalition. But, yeah, I'm just so disappointed at everything I've been hearing about this game, especially after, Todd Howard did an amazing job selling this game at E3. Like, he spent like half the conference like talking about this game, and he sold it. Like, I have to admit, he sold it. He made it seem like it was going to be something good, and I'm just so surprised that what the final result was. And every day when I visit YouTube, I'm seeing more and more videos of people like bashing this game and talking about what's wrong with it and everything like that. So I'm surprised it's bombed this much to where everybody has something hateful to say about it. And it's a shame because it's like they're dragging the brand's name through the mud now, like the Fallout IP. Like, because this is a flop, like, are we gonna get another Fallout now? Because I want just a normal Fallout. That's what I always wanted. I just wanted Fallout 5. I don't want this online stuff, like, like online only. And if you are gonna do an online game, at least make it so that you can actually play solo and have it be fun and fulfilling at the same time. Because what I'm hearing about, there's no NPCs, and you just talk to robots, and there's audio tapes. That's not appealing to me at all. That doesn't seem like an experience to me. Like, if I want to do that, I'll just listen to podcasts and play another game or something. Like, I don't want to hear audio tapes while I'm playing. So yes, it's very disappointing, and it kind of shows that Bethesda is they're one of those companies that are kind of changing. There's always these beloved studios like BioWare, Bethesda, and things like that. But it's like when they start to get more corporate and start to make moves that are completely money orientated, it's like the complete ethos of the company just kind of shifts, just changes. And I feel like Bethesda is now going through that transition, which is a shame to see, because they have a lot of IPs that I love, like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Rage, and other things like that. And it's like, they're just now it's got to the point where they're not even pleasing the fans of these IPs anymore. And it looks like they're turning more to mobile as well. With they've got the Elder Scrolls games on there and everything. So they're just completely shifting, and they're making moves that their audience isn't really asking for, and that's a shame to see. And it makes me skeptical about what's the space game that they announced? I can't remember the name of that
Starfield.
game. Starfield, yeah. Makes me skeptical about that now. Because
I do have to say this, because you brought up some very interesting points. I actually was going to ask about that, but now that you mentioned this thing about Bethesda, and maybe this isn't the right question to ask, but I feel like I have to keep it real and ask this question. So do you think that this game was basically rushed out just so they have a release for the fall?
Oh
Because
yeah, go ahead.
because I looking at the release schedule, I don't really see, unless I may have missed something, any other game that they did release, and maybe they decided, because I know they said Rage. We thought initially that was coming out this year, but then it got pushed to spring 2019. So could it be that they just released this so that they had a big game for the fall that was out?
Yeah, I definitely think that contributed big time to the problems of Fallout 76. I think they wanted to release this game this fall. They wanted to catch the holiday period and everything. I feel like they were struggling and having problems getting the game to where they wanted it to be. I do think that Todd Howard's vision is how the game was supposed to be, but they just didn't have enough time to execute. And I really think, like, to answer the question of how could they have prevented this disaster, I think they should have delayed the game. They should have pushed it back, because now it's a complete backlash, and people have lost confidence in Bethesda altogether. So this hurts them in the long run now. So they should have just delayed the game.
Yeah, no, I think you made a very, very, very compelling points throughout. And the final question I was going to ask on that, because I do want to get Dana and Tony's opinion, was going to be, do you think this is going to impact the other games they release in the future? Like you mentioned, Starfield, and then whatever the next Elder Scrolls game is. Do you think that people may be hesitant to think, I guess, positively of those games because you see how Fallout was treated in this particular sense?
Elder Scrolls is a big name, so I think people will buy that no matter what. But as for what is it, Starfield?
Yeah.
As for that, I think people might be more reluctant to give a new IP from them a try because of the flop that Fallout 76 is. But who knows? Like, if they market it well and if they're showing things that haven't been done before, and they have a unique spin on it, then people, might start to get back behind them again. Who knows? The fans have no loyalty. They don't have any set way. They're always changing their opinions on things. So, I mean, things can change. I just feel like, me personally, I'm a bit more reluctant to try something new from them now just because they messed this up, because that shows me their way of thinking and the direction that the company is going in. So that raises red flags to me.
Wow. Interesting. I have to say, you made some very, very good points. So I'm very curious to hear what both Dana and Tony has to say. So I'm going to go to you first, Dana, because I don't know if you really are a fan of any of these Bethesda games. What do
Me
you
and
think?
Frank never really worked out. We just was just one of those things that just we tried talking to each other. We always never had great communication. But I would say, judging by how you describe the game, it sounds horribly boring and like a waste of money. But I also wonder, I haven't played it obviously, but I wonder if all of the backlash is, how you when you get like a bad review and more people just jump on it as a form of like a popularity thing. I wonder, because you were saying how everybody is just like, basically pooping on the game, if it's really just that bad, or it's just people like just jumping on the bandwagon and saying that it's bad. But the description alone sounds awful. I do not think at all that this will impact Elder Scrolls. As Gary said previously, that is a very big title, and that has loyal, diehard fans. So that'll be perfectly fine. I think when it comes to the new one, the new game, the Star Fox, the whatever it's called, that game, we just need to see more. We need to see gameplay, and it should be fine. I mean, there are many companies who make one crappy game, and they are able to learn from their mistakes and move on from that, and they'll be fine, I believe. But yeah, that sounds like an awful game. So you just talk to like AIs and like listen to tapes all day?
Yeah. And you do quests. They tell you go here, go here, go there. So yeah, it's not like I said, it's not a traditional Fallout game where you're actually talking with the humans and doing other missions. It's so
it sounds like depression. You're like, I'm depressed and I want to feel even more worse about myself. Let me play that. No, awful. But it'll be fine. The company will be fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, Gary, you were saying something else?
Oh, no, that's cool.
Okay, let's hear what Tony has to say, because I'm curious what he had to say as well on this topic.
Yeah, here's the thing. I really can't speak about Fallout 76 myself because I haven't played it yet. Just based off what I've seen from videos and what I heard, it doesn't sound like it's a good game. But at the same time, I already knew this was a game for me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like Fallout, like to me, the whole thing about Fallout is like it's a, it's you're there by yourself in a world that's against you, right? But this one is like, okay, don't get me wrong. Fallout games are supposed to, give you like a lonely feeling, but this one like supposedly takes it to a whole other level, but not even having NPCs, just a bunch of robots or whatever. As for what they could have done to save some of this, it's funny because it's so easy. I'm surprised they didn't do it. First of all, because you got to understand, I'm just being real right now. People are stupid. You got to like present things in a very clear cut way so they understand what you're getting into. This game should not have been called Fallout 76. It should have been called Fallout Online. Right there, that online lets people know what they're getting into. So that's number one. Number two, and right now it's this price, but it should have been $40 at launch. This is not a complete game, So if you would have had Fallout Online, $40, I think that could have alleviated some of the problems, But it's funny. Maybe it's because I didn't see the Todd Howard thing. Because to me, I felt they didn't do a very good job of communicating what this game was about. Like even like weeks until it came out, I'm like, what is this thing about? I have no idea what this game's about. I just knew that it was going to be online, so I was not even going to mess with it. As for Bethesda going forward, this would really disappoints me, right? Because everybody knows that there are problems with that engine, that whatever the hell the name of the engine they're using is. And they already said they're going to use the same engine, the same broken ass engine on Starfield and the new Elder Scrolls game. Are you fucking kidding me? How are you going to get excited for these games when it's going to be built on that same broken ass engine? It's just funny to me how Bethesda gets such a pass when they're I'm saying it, they're one of the worst developers out there. They come up with some of the most broken games out there. Don't get me wrong, the ideas behind them are cool. Maybe that's the reason why people keep buying these games because, even me, like, I like the world of Fallout, but it is not a pleasant gaming experience. But I think people deal with it just because of the fact that they're getting this world presented to them. But to me, Bethesda is like a big budget version of Telltale games, using the same broken ass engine, and people just give them a pass. I think we're finally getting some people to say something negative about their games. I think this is the first time we're seeing that. But yeah, it's like, come on, guys, you got to change that fucking engine. You can't, like, really. Elder Scrolls 6. Like, when was the last game? Skyrim in like 2011 or something. Are you gonna use that same ass engine? Really? Come on, man. Then you got this whole sci-fi game coming out on the same engine too. Like, nah, it's not a good look, man. So I think Bethesda definitely has the money to to just make a new engine. I don't, it doesn't matter how long it's gonna take. Just you got to do something because you can't be releasing games like this. It's already I think people are already getting tired of like the novelty. It's like, again, I think people let us slide because of the game worlds they presented were unique and all that, but I think now people are getting fed up with it. So you got to respond to that and release a proper next gen engine instead of this broken trash heap you've been using forever.
Yeah,
Cleo hasn't played a game by Ukes.
What happened?
I said Tony's never played a game by Ukes.
I never even heard of that. I never even heard of that shit.
Yeah, WWE. Yeah, there you go.
Oh God. But yeah, no, man, it's just crazy to me. But I think now, people are starting to open their eyes. It's like, okay, Bethesda, man, they ain't delivering, But it's funny. This is the Bethesda produced games. Like Bethesda IP games like Wolfenstein and Doom, they're great. You know, I suggest those all day, every day. It's the proper games that I, caution people against, because they're just broken trash, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Wolfenstein was fantastic. I still like the first game better than the second one, but the second one was pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I'm hyped for Doom Eternal. That's going to be great too,
Exactly. So those games, great. I think Gary did mention he's looking forward to Rage 2. Because I saw that when they had that little concert at E3, he was dancing from home.
No,
yeah,
I can't dance.
It's true. He was on Skype with me, just dancing.
Oh no, I know. I was in the audience during that show, and that was a very interesting experience to see them try to have that concert in, because that was a little tight seat where we were sitting at. So I was like, yeah, this is interesting, but hey, it's all good. But no, Gary, you was actually saying something earlier after Tony was
Oh yeah, like in terms of the history of Bethesda and their bugs. Now I don't want to sound like I'm defending them. I'm definitely not, because in this day and age, we have a lot of quality games out there that are super polished. So it's inexcusable for Bethesda to get away with this stuff. But I will say, back in some of the back in like the Morrowind and Oblivion days, and Fallout 3 and stuff, like the fandom of these games was still kind of like so obscure at that time, and it's like the bugs in the engine and everything, they actually added to the experience somewhat, just because like it's coming across a bug in the game was kind of like coming across something cool back then, like in some weird twisted way. But like the bugs actually added to the experience. It made them funny somewhat, like and it was kind of like you see a funny bug happen and you go online and you talk about it on the forums or whatever. So there was a time where like the bugs were, I wouldn't say celebrated, but like they were a fun part of the community of Bethesda fans, like just discovering the different bugs and stuff like that. But I feel like, we're not at a point in time where they can get away with that any longer, because the stakes have been raised since then. And there's a lot of competition out there, and we're seeing phenomenal games out there, so they can't keep getting away with those bugs. They have to update that engine, and they have to make sure they smooth everything out before they release their games, because the competition that they have now is crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely not defending them on that. I just wanted to add that.
sounds good. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on Fallout 76 and Bethesda before we move on to the next topic?
Rich, you said you had like another question or something, right? Like,
well, yeah. I think pretty much, yeah. You all have answered that question. I was asking, how do you feel about Bethesda and the other games moving forward after?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you all have answered that question. I know Dana said Bethesda will be fine, and Tony said he's looking forward to Doom Eternal. So but also the whole thing with the engine. If they're using the same engine for Starfield and Elder Scrolls, well, yeah, this definitely should have some level of concern over that. But yeah, that's all I was going to ask. But
yeah, one more thing as well. Like, I don't understand why they called the beta a beta, because it was like a week before the game came out, like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah,
So,
that's a pre-release bonus, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's not a beta.
yeah, because realistically, what could they fix in that time? Like, they couldn't fix anything. So
yeah, by the way, I love that too. Like, people were like, "Oh, it was just the beta. You can forgive it." And then when the game comes out, it's the same shit. They shut up. They don't say nothing. Oh man. It's just funny to be not talking about you, Rich, specifically, but there are some people I'm not gonna name. But if you listen to Throwdown, might know who I'm talking about. They just excuse this fucking game, man. It's like, what is wrong with you guys, man? You see the shit in front of you, but I don't know, man. It's interesting to me, man. There's a lot of I'm just gonna say there's a lot of Bethesda fanboys out there,
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the experience that I had was I didn't have any issues with what I experienced, but then again, I didn't go in thinking this is going to be another Fallout mainline Fallout title. So I didn't really have any high expectations, and what I do know is that when this game came out, at the same time, there was still a lot of people talking about Red Dead Redemption. So I saw a lot of people talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. I said, Red Dead Redemption 2 was awesome. I haven't gone back to it, but I want to see what other games are out here because, my job on the website, our job is continuously looking at every game that comes out and trying to cover every game to see whether or not it's actually good. So that's why I just decided to check out Fallout, and what I discovered is, the game, I pretty much see what they're trying to do with the game, so I didn't really have too many harsh criticisms for it because I didn't really have any high expectations. But for those that complained and said the game is a disaster, well, I totally respect and understand that opinion. I don't have any problems with that at all. But yeah, it's for those some do enjoy it and others don't enjoy it. I think it's totally fine, and that's everyone's own opinion. But I will say, yes, Bethesda absolutely positively should have better communicated what this game actually is, because that would have prevented a lot of the backlash that they're getting right now. And I'm very curious to see how they respond to this. We have their E3 next year. For those of us that are still deciding to go to E3, which I don't really know yet, I'm very curious to see what they talk about at that next Bethesda E3 show. If they go back, if they're going to continue to support Fallout 76, and if they are going to talk about it, if they are still supporting it at that Bethesda conference in particular, because I know they have said before this is a game we intend to continue supporting over the next several years. So I would assume that they're still going to talk about it. And if they do talk about it at the next conference, if they're going to address, yes, we know the game has not been received well, we use that as motivation to make it better. I'm curious to know if they're going to have that type of dialogue with the fans, or are they just going to forget about this and just talk about, yes, so let's show you Starfield. Let's show you the next Elder Scrolls. That's what I'm curious to know. So we'll see what happens in the future with this game. If it has a chance to still become something more than what it actually is right now. But, just have to wait and see. But yes. So any final thoughts on the apocalypse, or should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, you can move on.
Okay, so Gary, I believe the floor is going to be now yours, as we're basically going to talk about some of our best memories with the Koalition. And since you did such an excellent job introducing this topic last week, Gary, I'm going to give the floor over to you to do the same thing right now.
Yeah, so for those of you who have been, listening for the past few weeks, we've been celebrating our 10-year anniversary, because we started in 2008, so that marks 10 years, and through that decade, we've had many people come and go at the Koalition website, and we've been bringing back people every week, and it's a pleasure to have Dana and Tony here with us today, and we've been like happy to we've met them in person. So I want you guys to give us some of your best Koalition memories. Like, let us know some of the best times you've had, with the Koalition as a team, whether it was from E3 or whether it was an experience or interview that you guys went to, off your own accord, because of the site or something like that. So just give us some of your best memories. Like we were talking about a few of them before the show. So I don't want to like steal any because I've been given a lot of memories like since we've been doing this already. So I want you guys to be the ones to kind of give us the memories before I say anything. So and me and Rich will just kind of chime in with our own memories involving you guys as well. So yeah, that's basically it. So should we start with you, Dana? Did you manage to think of anything?
I just want to say I don't know who any of you guys are. Just keep contacting me, and I just keep showing up every week. Don't know who you are. No, I've been with the site. Oh gosh, maybe 4 years now. I don't know. It's been a while. I would have to say there's a couple, but Tony was the one who brought me into the site. He introduced me to everyone and everything. It was the first time I came from another site. It was the fact that I was just able to basically report on anything. Previously, beforehand, I wasn't really allowed to do much on-site reporting. I was just kind of stuck at home. And I remember like going to the very first event, which was a VR movie theater experience for one of the games that I can't remember. But it went disastrously. It was terrible because I couldn't take the VR and ended up passing out in the movie theater. But just being able to attend something was very amazing to me. One would be my very first on-camera interview that was kind of like thrown on me, that I basically threw on myself, was we went to Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and Troy Baker. I was very much determined to interview Troy Baker, and I kind of like, Tony was with me, and kind of like stampeded the handler of Tony Baker and was able to like make him do an interview with me. And that was like one of those things where I really kind of felt like I was legit. Like, I just interviewed someone. Yes. So that was always fun. Meeting Gary in New York City was amazing. And him getting attacked by costumed tourists was always hilarious. They still miss you, by the way. They ask for you all the time at Times Square.
Explain that story real quick because that was funny.
So he came to New York and he looks really like a tourist. His eyes was like big and wide, and we go out of the Times Square staircase, the one that's right across the street from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. On that corner is costumed characters. So they're basically people dressed up in like Marvel or Disney costumes, and they beg you to take a picture with them so that you can give them money. I was at that moment trying to point at, oh, look, it's the Harry Potter play. This is your people. And somehow they smelled that Gary was a tourist because his eyes was just so big and wide. And he was like, oh, it's Times Square. And they just kind of stampeded him. It was literally a scene out of The Lion King where they just ran towards him and just surrounded him. And they was like basically trying to get him to take a picture, and he had his phone out, and they was like this big tug of war, me trying to pull him out of like this circle that they've gathered themselves around him. And he was just kind of oblivious to the whole thing. And it literally happened in a matter of seconds, but it felt like an eternity. And basically, yeah, they was just hunting him down during that whole time in Times Square. We was trying to get to, was it Midtown Comics? I believe at that time.
Yeah, I think Midtown Comics.
And I have like no sense of direction, so I'm just always looking up to figure out where I am. And they just kind of stampeded and stormed him.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was like they literally smelt the tourist on me, and like they just rushed towards me, like trying to hug me and grab me, like to take pictures with them and stuff. And I'm like, because I'm so amazed by the surroundings and everything, like I don't care, like I'm just having a good time.
But this is so fun of it. It's like, yeah, he was enjoying himself. But I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally lost Gary. He was like, buried in all of these characters. And it wasn't like even one or two. It was like all of the Avengers, Mickey and Minnie. Somehow Goofy was there. Elmo was there for sure. And Cookie Monster.
Oh, they had the whole Disney up in there.
They had the whole Disney. So yeah, that was pretty memorable. Yeah, there's others, but I would end up like talking for so long. So move on to the next person.
Oh yeah, so you
All
can
right.
go next,
Yeah.
Tony.
All right, I was just waiting, man. This ain't my show. There's a bunch of little ones, but going back to the beginning, because I've been friends with you guys since I started in this industry in like fuck 2012. It's been a long time, so it was dope to be on the coalition proper. And even before that, before things broke down with my previous site, like you guys were, you already said you were gonna, um, you know, have the throwdown on it. And it was fortunate that I was able to, come back and be the host of that. When the show came on. But yeah, there's just a lot of cool things, like for E3, for example, there was this one year, 2015, it was me, Charles Singletary, David Jagano, Garrett Glass, Jake James Lugo, Emilio Lopez. We were in the hotel room together. And like, this is something that I like, if I ever get enough money, I would love to do, just have like a podcast, everybody in the room together, just talking, no fucking delays or any of that other shit. So it was really cool to just, get in there and give our impressions of that specific E3. That was a really good E3. That was the one where they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3. You guys remember that year? That year was crazy. So that was good. There's also our annual tradition going to the Yard House. Rich, you already know about that, very good times with that. Yeah, E3 in general is always interesting because like we always kind of even if we're like writing for different sites, we always seem to have the same appointment, so always run into each other, and then there's like the New York based events like Comic-Con. That's always been a lot of fun times. And even like more personal stuff, like when me, Gary, Dana and our boy Jeffrey went to eat ramen in the city during the summer. That was really cool too. Obviously that was just a personal thing, but it's still coalition family, and that's the I guess the operative word for it. Is like, I feel like you guys are my family. You guys give me a home and stuff. And I talk to you guys every day, which especially you, Rich. Like, we're always talking shop and stuff. So like that communication has never really gone away, which is really dope. But yeah, man. And again, just some little things I can't talk about on air, like our Skype fights we used to have back in the day, shit like that, dealing with specific publishers and developers BS. Again, we can't talk about any of that, but there's a lot of little things. And the thing is, the memories keep being made. Again, like I said, we just had like this little dinner during the summer, and it's a continuing thing. Never gonna leave the coalition, man. I'm gonna be here for life. And I'm glad you guys are still going 10 years strong. Hopefully it'll be another 20, 30 years. Who knows? It's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. Definitely. We'll see. We'll see about 30. We'll try for 30 and up.
Yeah, man. We'll be fucking dust and bones, man. We'll still keep talking about games.
Back in my day, Nintendo. Right? I still Game Boy. Yay!
Don't got no reflexes no more. You have to play virtual reality because that's the only way you could play games. Oh man.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. But no, it's 10 years is definitely a special time. Yeah, a lot of memories to have to try and count and go through. I unfortunately have not met Dana yet, although I do have memories of when we recorded the Powercast as well as the WrestleCast. I always enjoyed those shows, so hopefully we will continue to do those in the future. and eventually, whenever I decide to make it to New York for New York Comic-Con, I could possibly meet her proper as well as hang out with you again as well, Tony. So I have to plan on that for next year for sure.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. You can go to the rated New York Comic-Con in Boston every year. Same thing.
That is very true. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, can't say nothing right now, but Rich, I'm gonna see you in a couple of weeks. Actually, this should be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Hopefully, we can talk more about that in the future.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the point, though. Coalition memories are still being made, man. So yeah, expect me and Rich to give a pretty interesting announcement pretty soon.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So,
I just want to reflect real quick on how much of a big addition Tony Polanco has been to the coalition as well.
yes,
Because like there's been a few phases of the coalition, but in 2015, like we had a few people who were kind of like they were still kind of with the site, but then people were doing their own thing and everything. But when Tony joined the coalition, like he's such an influential dude that so many people came, with him too. And I believe Dana came around that time too because they worked at a site previously together. And there were a few people that came in like Tatiana, Stephanie as well, and Charles was kind of already with us. So yeah, like there was a lot of people who joined, just because Tony's so influential and he's got so many friends in the industry and so many contacts and stuff. So like Tony has been a big part of the coalition. So I just wanted to, say that we appreciate you being with us, and you're definitely a pivotal part of the coalition, especially this new phase we're in. Like you've been a big part of that, and thanks to Dana as well, because just a bit of history. Like Coalition started as a gaming and hip hop website, but a lot of our editors and writers who are into hip hop, they kind of they went away from the site a little bit because they had other responsibilities going on. So we were kind of missing that part of the coalition, but then we kind of developed our entertainment section of the coalition, and Dana has been a very important part of that in building our entertainment, movies, TV shows, things of that nature. So big thanks to Dana for developing that.
It's a lot of work. Thank you. No, I'm appreciative for that, for kind of like giving me the go on and do your thing, and kind of not like being one of those people who's like, have to get approval for just farting. So I appreciate that kind of lack the lack of hand holding, and that you trusted me enough to build that up. So that's very fun. So thank you to both of you and to everyone for that.
Yeah, I do want to say, and I never said this on air, right? Coalition, like real talk, like reignited my passion for games journalism, because it was kind of dead by that year. It was like I almost left the shit, but you guys definitely reignited, man. And the thing is, like nowadays, obviously, I can't contribute as much as I could because of my day job. But as Rich knows, every time I get a new contact, I always slide that to him. Like, yo, Rich, man, see what you could do with this, man. So I'm still there, man. Still trying to help the site as much as I can.
That's true. Absolutely. I believe
you definitely got a couple of hookups, man. Thanks to your boy.
Oh no, absolutely. Oh yeah, I'm appreciative of that. And have returned it as well. So
yeah, man. Yeah, of course. You're always doing the same thing. Like, yo, Tony, check this out, man. It's awesome. I love it.
Oh yeah, I think this is exactly how things should be. Definitely giving back to each other. That's an important thing to do. I was going to say something, but I believe Dana was saying something. First.
No, I was just basically saying, thank you guys for that whole entertainment thing, because it turned out to be something that was really, remember, it was supposed to be really small, like on the weekend, and it just kind of really grew into something that was bigger than what was initially planned. So, yay.
Oh, well, I would like to say that you're welcome, but I have to correct Gary, and I have to say that you actually are the one leading the charge with that. Because it sounds as though Gary said that you contributed. No, you're the one that is leading the charge with that. Because
not to gloat, I did start it. Thank you. Yeah.
And I do believe that is a big part of what of the stuff we're going to continue to do in the future. Obviously, we're still going to talk about video games, but I know the entertainment stuff especially, because I know I went to school for film animation video, so I definitely like to talk about movies and stuff like that anyway. So I'm glad that you are the one that is leading the charge with that, and looking forward to continuing doing more of this type of stuff.
Thank you, Danke Shay. And this weekend we'll have a big interview coming up, so that'll be fun. Yeah.
Okay, see, see that definitely is exclusive to this podcast. So I didn't hear anything about this interview, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, from the studio, so that's why.
Okay.
It'll be very fishy. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we have to talk about that off air. Yes, but I mean, Gary has already said a lot of. He said everything so eloquently, well put together. I cannot really emphasize. We definitely appreciate both you and Tony for all that you have done for the website, for all the stuff that you continue to contribute to the website. So looking forward to continuing working with the both of you moving forward.
Yo.
Yeah, man, like, because the Throwdown was always, like, one of my favorite gaming podcasts. Like, there was Warzone, there was Throwdown as well. And, obviously I was part of the co-op. But, like, I always loved listening to those podcasts. So to have the Throwdown part of the Koalition now, that means a lot to me as well. And everyone, make sure you go subscribe to the Throwdown channel and look out for Throwdown Your Questions later on today.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I agree. So, was there any other final topics that y'all wanted to bring up before we wrap up today's show?
No, I'm good now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. So, yes, that does conclude episode 275 of the Co-op Podcast. I once again want to thank both Dana and Tony for joining us today. Had some great discussion. So please feel free to leave your comments and let us know about what your thoughts are on some of the topics that we discussed. And as I said, next week we will probably have another special guest. We cannot confirm it yet because we're still trying to get the details worked out. But definitely stay tuned for the next show.
I heard a rumor is going to be Phil Spencer.
Oh man, well I'm gonna tell you, he would be on the hot seat that whole episode talking about what's going on with Xbox in the future. I want to know what's going on with E3 2019, Phil. So,
I know some of the fanboys that be in the chat would love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, Edward especially, man, he'd bust a nut. Shout out to Edward, man. He's been busting my hump this entire episode, man. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, he definitely would be excited for that. But we'll see. Just we'll see. But as for shout outs, Tony, do you have any shout outs that you want to give?
I guess you could call this one an anti shout out because I just found out that Venom made more money than Wonder Woman in the box office. So I just have to chastise these people. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? I was gonna say, I think the same people that made Venom like the number one movie for a while. It's the same people that made Black Ops #1. It's like, come on, guys. Whoa. There's better shit out there, man. Don't give your money to trash. So yeah, that's my anti shout out. But in all seriousness, shout out to the fans as always for the big support. Giving the co-op love, the coalition love, throwdown love, giving all of us love on Twitter too. It's great, man. I always appreciate it, and I hope you guys, some of you do understand that you could approach us anytime, especially on Twitter. We're always there to answer questions and all that. And since the holidays are coming, they're already here. Obviously, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. The American guys who celebrated it, and Christmas is coming. And even though the year's about to wind down, all of us, coalition, throwdown, whatever, we're going to be bringing you a lot of really good stuff. So be on the lookout for all of that, man.
Absolutely. Agree 100%. Yes. How about you, Dana? Any shout outs that you would like to give?
Shout outs to everyone who keeps listening and who keeps supporting the coalition. Thank you very much.
Yes, agreed. And once again, I want to give a shout out to everybody that has been with the coalition. Of course, once again, a shout out to Dana and Tony for being on today's show. I want to give a shout out to Tatiana, JJ, Mr. Anthony Nash, pretty much everybody that has been with the website, David Jagno, as well as Mr. Max Muller. Yes, and of course, all of the fans, as well as the Patreon supporters. Thank you for your continued support. And Gary, the floor is now yours for shout-outs.
Yeah, so I got a few Patreon people to shout out. That's M. Collins, Mauricio Aguilar, Himdil Fergus Mills, Miguel Antonio Rogers, and Sean Gority. Big thank you to all of you for your continued support of the Koalition, and look out for all of the exclusive content we have planned in the future. And shouts to everyone who joined us in the chat and participated live. Fergus, Ed, of course, even though he was trolling, and everyone else who joined in the chat today. We appreciate you.
That sounds good. Yes. So once again, thank you for all your continued support. We will talk to you all next week.